Chez nous, on est né avec un bâton dans les mains. Chez nous, le froid n'est jamais trop froid. Chez nous, la messe a lieu le samedi soir. Chez nous, on est fiers d'être l'original. Chez nous, on sait comment faire la fête. Washington, vous êtes chez nous.
Welcome to the Brunch Gimmick. I am Lawrence Cartier. Whoopsie doodle. It's playing
Chez nous.
There we go. I am Lawrence Cartier. Welcome to the Brunch Gimmick. It is Sunday. We have fully digested the Raw after Mania, the SmackDown after Mania, AEW. How is everyone doing in the chat? Sandy putting those candles up for returning Aleister Black. No one is truly good. No one is truly evil. We got Amanda up on Twitch saying hello, going yeet. Oh yeah, the Montreal Canadiens are back in the playoffs. This is the second and possibly and hopefully not final Habs home game of the season as they face off against the Washington Capitals. We are hyped. That was a intro package done by Kevin Owens, who I sort of got an exclusive when I asked the question on Twitter. I asked if his father knew about it, and Kevin Steen himself answered me. And like my first question was, what was it his father think when he first saw it? To which he said his father, Kevin Steen, answered me by saying a bunch of emojis, just being excited as hell. And then I asked him if he saw it beforehand. It was a surprise. And apparently it was a complete surprise to his father, who, if you don't know, Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens' father, huge Hab fan. Kevin Owens has a tendency of taking his dad to games recently when he's in town, or his dad is at a lot of games with pro wrestling journalist and like media personality in Quebec, Pat LaPrade. So they're at games together all the time. So having Kevin do the intro for the game on Friday, for the home game on Friday, our first home playoff game with a full crowd in almost a decade. Huge. And what a way to hype up that game. What a way to hype up this week of the Brunch Gimmick, which, wow, huge week in professional wrestling. As we got the great Raw after Mania, and I said it last week and I'll say it again, that TLC match should have been on WrestleMania. My God, what a match. Good golly. Oh man, they laid everything out there. They were definitely making a point throughout that match. We will talk about that. We will talk about the Raw after Mania. We will talk about the leaked audio, because I want to talk about that both as a wrestling fan, but mostly as a comedy fan. The roast of WrestleMania, because oh my God, was it exactly it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And that was legitimately not great. We'll get into that. First of all, how is everyone doing? Sandy, how are you doing? How is your weekend going? Amanda, how's your weekend going? Me, I kept it pretty low key. Did some shopping yesterday, went downtown, hung out. I'm debating going to hang around the Bell Center today, but I'm honestly might be too old for that at this point. Sadly, not a Cold Caulfield jersey. I got this on liquidation. It is the number 13, but it is a Max Domi jersey. Somebody got it on liquidation right after he was traded. But Gold Caulfield, absolutely killing, and I got to meet him at the Montreal Canadiens blood drive this week. Short little kid, but my God, what a hockey player. That man just knows the back of the net. But yes, we got a crazy Raw after Mania this week. Some fun matches, some fun returns. And we got, what was funny was before, so we'll start with I watched Pat McAfee's interview with the wise man himself. And first off, gross joke, dude. That was disgusting. You're better than that, Paul Heyman. Stupid thing to say. But also, what was interesting was I didn't see it online anywhere. And from somebody who's chronically online, I never saw that Braun Breaker was going to be joining the group at any point. Like it might have been on Fightful Select or something. But I never saw it. But the entire crowd was chanting for Braun Breaker to join Seth Rollins. And that's literally what happened at the end of Raw this week. Was like, I guess he's also painting it as a new evolution because he says the past, the future, and the present of professional wrestling. But like, I see it more as a dangerous alliance of Paul Heyman setting up his own group. Because my God, great, like absolutely perfect. Braun Breaker is the perfect person to put in there because it is somebody on the come up who, just like Sir Randy Orton, it's not going to be in Batista. It's not going to be long before he butts heads with Seth. And either Seth becomes a champion. Yeah, that was a great call. I didn't see it coming till that interview on McAfee, and people started doing the barking anytime that it came up somebody else might join the group. And I'm like, yes, this just makes sense. This fits like a glove. And like, love the potential of it. I could see Becky Lynch joining them too. Like, as a heel, it kind of makes sense. Like Paul Heyman's never had a Paul Heyman, like woman or girl in his group. I think it's about time. Fernando, how are you doing? How's your weekend, my friend? And like, I think it fits like a glove that Becky would join him now that she has turned heel. It's literally the hackiest, low-hanging fruit. Like for him, especially somebody who is good as Warrior, it's lazy. It was the quickest comeback he could come with because it's the laziest comeback. But we'll also get into the roast because I am a massive comedy nerd and I have a lot of feelings about that roast. See, I think Drew is too much. Like, it would make sense too because he truly hates the bloodline and anything to do with it. But like, Drew is also his own thing, and I think he would butt heads almost immediately with Seth because they would both want the title soon. Like with Braun, it makes sense because he's not quite there yet, but it's going to happen like within a year. That, like, I honestly think it's not going to be long before Seth wins the heavyweight title again. I think it's not going to be long to put it back on him here. maybe by the SummerSlam, somewhere around there. And I also don't like at this point, it kind of makes sense for Braun Breaker too to win the Money in the Bank. Although it might be too soon because like it's sort of, but like Braun is right there as right now his muscle, but he's gonna want Braun's gonna want the title soon too. Like it's only a matter of time till he graduates to the heavyweight title. And like I could see them butting heads and having a hell of a match between Seth thing, but like you also set that up really nice. Yeah, I think by SummerSlam it only makes too much sense that like that group is gonna that Seth is gonna become a heavyweight champion. Like I would have been entirely shocked if he won it on Raw the next night. Like it's only a matter of time till that group gets what they want. Like they're gonna finish off the rivalries that they have now. As like I think they're both Punk and Rollins is going to carry them straight through the next few months. But like I think it's only a matter of time because Seth becomes heavyweight champion, and maybe he loses it to Punk at Mania. We don't know. Also, we've got like the draft, so we don't know how it's going to shake up the pointless Raw draft. But yeah, that was the major news closing Raw this week, which we've now got a group, the makings of a group, and I would like to see Becky Lynch join them now as a heel, and like she has her goal clearly set out on the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which like again, people who say it doesn't help the fact, but also think people are who say like, oh, it's Becky Hogan. That's as far from the truth as possible, because Becky backstage is all about helping new talent, putting over new talent, and like a very giving performer. So like, yes, on screen she does win titles a lot, but like a completely different thing. Whereas Hulk Hogan politic to bury other talent, she's doing the opposite. And like I think it's almost inevitable that she wins the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But like I would like her to see her join this group and make it a super group, because there hasn't been a female women and with Paul Heyman. I think it's a matter of time now. I think this is like the group that Paul Heyman builds to completely control professional wrestling. And like, I think it's well overdue. Before we get to SmackDown after Mania, I also want to talk, actually, we'll go back a bit. We'll talk night 2 of Mania 2. As like, I reacted to that live. I had Pluggo joining me for the whole show, and the boss, Spencer, hopped in for the main event. And night 2 was a really fun show throughout up until that main event. Like, just the booking of it wasn't great. Like, we all knew how it was going to end. I guarantee there isn't a single person that was shocked that John Cena won. We were all expecting it, but just how they got there wasn't great. And it didn't help that The Rock hop on McAfee and sort of like buried Triple H's booking there. And it also didn't help that like he was like, I can't believe people like the fact he thought it was just obvious that people would assume he wouldn't be showing up or wouldn't want him there when you left the storyline completely open-ended. Like, yes, it was reported that The Rock wouldn't be there. And even though The Rock tries to bury journalists there and saying, no, not true, it was 100%. It was very much what happens sometimes with reporting. It happens, like, what's unfair is it also happens in regular sports reporting too. Is there was a sports reporter who said, who literally reported on a thing, and then the athlete like denied it on Twitter. But like, I don't know if he put it completely out on a blast or it just was later found out. But like the reporter said, like, it was you that confirmed the story to me in the first place, dude. Like you were in my DMs confirming it, and then you go publicly and denying it. So like, I agree, Fernando, because like, here's the thing, which we've got to come to terms with. The Rock, great action star, probably, and if recent history shows, not the best writer in the world, bud. Like, there's a reason Black Adam failed, and that's because you control the creative there. Buried any other possible crossover for your thing, and it died. And like the same thing is happening in WWE. It was like, it was the reason, like, the fans saved that WrestleMania last year. Like, the fans demanding Cody Rhodes saved WrestleMania last year. The Rock almost killed it. And it's the same thing here, whereas he came up with like a shoestring reason for him to show up at Mania. It's like, oh, the final boss wants his soul. I'm like, it was a like decent plan if you had follow-up, and you had no follow-up for it. It was just to get tickets for that one show in Toronto, to get ticket sales going for that one show. And it you left it entirely open-ended. In your head, it was like, well, it's even though in your head it was like closed. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you had zero explanation for it. Like, the Rock as a creative, not great in my book. Like, he clearly shouldn't be putting his foot in, and like, it becomes, especially for like the other writers and Triple H, it's literally two people with power in this company butting heads on creative, and that never works. It's the Rock throwing sticks in the spokes there every time, and Triple H has to navigate it somehow, and they have to try to like the spokes of the wheel of the bike, and they still have to try to drive this thing and find something there. And it obviously causes problems, and it caused problems for that main event, especially when you have Travis Scott coming out. Like, despite better judgment, not everyone's online. Like, people have to remember that the majority of a lot of those fans aren't online, don't know that the Rock wasn't supposed to be there, wasn't booked to be there. So them reacting to Travis Scott coming out is them fully expecting the Rock to come back. Well, yeah, but Fernando, WCW went out of business for a lot of reasons. Their booking was one of the things that definitely did not help. But like, again, WWE not going out of business anytime soon. But it's also not going to help them. Like, as long as their tickets still selling, and they're like, them going to Netflix too helps. Whereas you have people who already have a Netflix subscription watching their pay-per-view and like Raw. So like, you've got a bigger reach there than people with basic cable now. So like, internationally, you've got more people watching Raw. So like, right now they're going to be fine for a while. And despite their better judgments, I hope that there's going to come a point where the TKO group's style of doing business does come to a head with WWE fans, because they are pricing them out. Like, I was just looking at the resale tickets for SmackDown, and they're $400 or $500, like, for decent tickets. It's ridiculous for SmackDown coming to Montreal. So like, hopefully there's going to be a point where it comes to a head, and the bad booking, and like the ticket prices will eventually cause problems. But like, for now, I don't see it in the near future, and they're quite happy with the business they're doing. So like, it sucks. Although this week, in all fairness, the Raw and SmackDown were booked very well, and like, having Aleister Black return on SmackDown was great. Like, although like, it does give the Miz, I guess, something to do for the next couple weeks. We don't know. But again, Aleister Black should be out of there fairly quick, and should be I guess, in the U.S. title picture for the coming up soon. You also got Rusev returning on Raw, which was big. Like again, he came out and destroyed the Alpha Academy. Just brutalized the hell out of them as the New Day went scampering, which is weird. Like, I guess is like that was just making a statement. So hopefully we see him on the singles thing soon, as he also, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he at least isn't given a heavyweight title match. Like, he's probably going to be in the Intercontinental title discussion if he's not given a rivalry. So, like, I could see him either in the Intercontinental match or within a few months as a threat for the heavyweight title. Like, somebody Jey Uso could beat to further solidify him as a fight, like at least giving him some solid wins over tough people. You also had Gunther, to a lot of people, turning babyface by choking out Pat McAfee on Raw, which was brutal. Like, that was brutal looking. And I don't know where Gunther goes from here. Like, I don't know if a match between him and Pat McAfee is what anyone really wants to see from him. I think they're stuck in this spot right now with Gunther, because he is somebody else that should still be in the heavyweight title picture, but like, I guess him versus McAfee, it's somewhere coming up. Like, that seems like a Saudi Arabia match to me. That seems like a match they put there, and not even on a Backlash. But like, again, I guess that's where you go with it if he's attacking McAfee, and McAfee was sort of like squaring up with him, which was not a wise move, and him venting his frustrations about losing the title. But again, like, I would rather see a rematch between him and Jey. But I understand why you wouldn't want Jey, even though, like, again, it's something that Jey could use, which is him another big statement victory. Like, especially if the general feeling consensus is it's not going to be a long title run for Jey. Like, I would not be. I'm kind of expecting, like I said earlier, for him to lose it at SummerSlam. I like the tease, Fernando saying Sami Zayn versus Jey at Backlash. I did like the tease of Sammy hitting the Helluva Kick just for a second while they're celebrating, and going back to celebrating with Jey. There was the shot of Jey in the corner celebrating, and Sammy behind him looking like he would when he was potentially setting up a Helluva Kick. And here's the thing: when I see them both in the ring, the only thought going through my mind, and yes, I'm a little biased, but the only thought going through my mind is, man, that should have been Sammy in that position. Like, it's too bad if like it's Jey versus Sammy early, because like obviously Jay's going to win, but man, I so badly want to see Sami Zayn as heavyweight champion. Like, again, going blue in the face talking about it a million times, that's a dude who definitely deserves at least one title run. And if he does turn heel, I hope somewhere down the line as a heel he does it as a heel champion, because he's fully deserving of it. But again, like, he doesn't even necessarily have to turn heel. It could just be like, you're my friend, and I feel like I deserve a title shot, and I would like that to be against you. We'd go one-on-one one last time. But yeah, we got that tease on Raw, and a nice celebration between the three Uso brothers of Jimmy, Jey, and Sammy, the lifelong Uso brothers, as they replaced Solo as their brother, as one of their siblings. But yeah, that was a nice moment. And like, honestly, like, I'm happy for him. I think it's well deserved. The only comment which I said on Sunday about that match about Jey winning was the tap out was a little quick for me. He should have locked it in more, and Gunther should have passed out. And then that, like, I do like vicious Gunther. I do like Gunther just going after anyone, just being unhinged and going after everyone and anyone. Although, like, they did suspend him indefinitely, which means like 2 weeks and he's going to show up again and assault somebody else in WWE speak. But yeah, the Raw after Mania delivered exactly what we hope of a Raw, because like the last few years it's been sort of disappointing, and it's nice that they have like retaken that mantle of what people like. They have died under the weight of expectation the last few years, and it's nice that they actually lived up to it this year. And like, we got big returns, we had fun matches throughout, we set up different rivalries both on Raw and on SmackDown, as like I had the general feeling, especially after the match, even though like they're continuing the feud, we did get the tease and a quick match between Tiffany and Jade, as like it's clear once Jade is done, she's going for the heavyweight title. Like, they're going to put her in the heavyweight title position after once this rivalry is done with Naomi, who, again, love Naomi. Also, Naomi should be heavyweight champion. Like, there's an embarrassment of riches at the top right now, as they've got several people who are believable champions. And like, again, they've sort of like finishing off this sort of filler feud with Nia, as Tiffany's more than likely going to beat Nia, as Nia returned to take her out at the after the match was called by disqualification. But yeah, like we got some Nia returning, and like there's definitely a shot of it. We got Axiom joining the main roster on Raw, and in a victorious fashion, which something that Raw tag division needed so much. They needed a new tag team. Although like there is, and Axiom has tweeted at them, like sort of teased at themselves. There are also rumors that they might join Seth Rollins' group, or the new Dangerous Alliance, or and like they're oh yeah, that like it's gonna be crazy. But like they need Fraxium on Raw, because that Raw tag division, like definitely needs some help. Like I was saying it before, like the only reason they got the match on Mania was because it's the New Day, and they're one of those teams that will always get like treatment because they are the best tag team in WWE. Like they're one of the most legendary tag teams now in WWE, and them winning the title was big for them. So like that's why they got that thing. But like that tag division needed the best effects there. So putting Fraxium on there on Raw is a great move. Like they needed new tag teams in there, and I'm very happy they threw in an established tag team and not like another thrown together tag team, which like WWE is famous for, like both in the men's and women's division. Like I think the women's division was even more egregious for it, but like they for years, and like Zach joked about it one year right before Mania, it was like right before the women's tag match they had at Mania or something. It was like he said like not one of these teams is going to be together next year, and he was 100% right. As like WWE has a tendency of throwing two singles competitors that aren't doing anything together as a tag team and putting them in the tag division, and then breaking them up a few months later. I agree. Like I felt like I disagree a little bit, Fernando, that I think you could have had the New Day and Viking Raiders on there, but I also think the TLC should have been on Mania. Because if you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor, watch that TLC match from the main event on SmackDown. That slaps so hard. My God, like it was obvious it was going to, but my God, those guys just built and built and built throughout that whole match. And by that, like, I get, like, I was happy for the Street Profits. They're definitely like deserving of being heavyweight champion, of being tag champions, but like every time I see Montez Ford, both Montez Ford and Dawkins showed out so much. Dawkins is so talented and gets like, he doesn't get the respect he quite deserves because, like, again, Montez Ford is just a little bit more of a star than he is coming out of this. But like, Dawkins is so good in his own right, and also on his own right deserves his own singles. But like, they both deserve a singles push as well. But man, are they so great in that tag division. And they showed out through it. Like, they did false finishes in that match, probably better than I've seen in a while in TLC matches and ladder matches. Like, there is a few times, like, I knew who was going to win, and I still held my breath when like Gargano almost had it, was about to unhook the title. They sold that so well throughout. And like, all three teams, like, you could put any of them together and it's going to be magic. And the three of them together, and like, their gear was amazing. Like, good shout, Fernando. Like, them showing up as the Rockers, and like, you could say, like, it's a breadcrumb. And hi, Lishi, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. Like, that match was so great. It was about half an hour long and like 35 minutes. I don't know, it was great from start to finish. They built on everything throughout. Like, the right team won. I think like it was very much a statement victory. And like, good for them, like for them to continue the tag, because it was definitely a massive statement victory for the Street Profits. And like, this run they're having, because like, my God, that they put every tag team on notice that they are still the ones around here. And there's like the different table spots they did, the Machine Guns doing their finisher, like Johnny Gargano just taking crazy bump after crazy bump when they put the chairs back to back, and Gargano taking one of those bumps and taking their finisher through the tables. Like, just like insane stuff. Like, they were innovating. Like, Dawkins doing his leap from inside the ring through a table. We got like, God, it's going to take some getting used to, but a beardless by necessity. It wasn't he didn't want to shave his beard, but we got a beardless Tommaso Ciampa for the first time in like many a year, because he did accidentally cut himself at home. He gigged himself real good on his chin, so he had no choice to get stitches and to shave off his beard to get stitches. But like, didn't lose any of his intensity with his beard. And that white noise through the ladder was crazy. Like, just spot after spot after spot. They built so well to it throughout. Like, man, their tag division is crazy. Like, if they just add like one or two more teams to that, it's off there. Like, the tag division is starting to become the like bright spot of SmackDown every week. And like, yeah, the chair, at least the chair that was sold so perfectly and worked. Like, I don't know if it was one of the things that sort of happened by accident, but having the chair fully spin around while it's around his neck just looked insane. Like, it should have been a Mania match, but my God, that SmackDown audience got their money's worth. Which, seeing the ticket prices right now, well deserved. Like, definitely paid every dollar for that match. Also this week, which I want to talk about, the audio leaked of the god awful. It was so bad. It was, for so many reasons, it was so bad. The roast of WrestleMania. And two things about me is I am a wrestling nerd and I am a comedy nerd. One of the like my favorite times of year here in Montreal is the legendary Just for Laugh Festival, which like is like the most famous comedy festival around the world. Literally, it's gotten like, especially like years, not so much anymore, but like years ago, you had a good set at the Montreal Comedy Festival. The next day, you would have an agent and have a TV, and if you didn't already have an agent, or you would have a pilot, you literally multiple comedians have gotten like TV pilots the next day for having a great set at Just for Laughs Festival. That's how powerful the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival. That's how powerful it is. And like one of my favorite times of year is I spend $100 in tickets to go through like smaller comics, do their 1 hour sets. Because I'm smart and don't go through the tourist trap of the different galas. The galas are tourist traps because they're like those same comedians doing 15-minute sets each, with one big star doing like maybe 10 minutes off the top and like 5 minutes throughout the show as they host. I go through all the comics. So I've seen like every big comic for super cheap before they get big, like years before. Like I've seen a lot of comics come through the Just for Laughs Festival. So like I know comedy. Like and when I tell you that from like the bottom of my heart, that like the host is a bad comedian. He is not good. Like his racial jokes are these same jokes this old man have been yelling, like his grandfather was yelling at schools getting desegregated. Like it's the same old school racist bullshit jokes. Oh, you're making an Asian accent jokes, real groundbreaking, bud. In 2025, they're like, he is not funny. I don't like. He is like. Here's the thing. The sad part is that lazy writing works with a big enough group, and what people don't understand is, especially it's fully proliferated comedy now. Like the having followers on like it. You get booked by the amount of like even in small clubs. You get booked by the amount of followers you have on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. Like especially Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Especially like the amount of followers you have there is how you get booked. So yes, it's the same dude who insulted Puerto Rico. 100% the same dude. And like it proliferated the vibe of that entire set. Like I listened to about 45 minutes of it before I had enough. And like I read the recaps online of like the heroes who made it through. And from like a strictly comedy perspective, it was lazy writing. Like, and like people are showing their whole ass throughout that whole show of like, oh, yeah, like, yeah, it's just like saying shocking thing to be shocking. And like, there is a reason, like, I went to the, so I can tell you almost exactly what the vibe is there. Like I went to the Sami Zayn's improv show, and they do have cameras there. So like that's why they took it down as like copyright violation, because they're it's with that said, it's never going to see the light of day. They're burying those videos deep in WWE's archives, but they do videotape that stuff. They also like what was the most shocking part is they do take your phones. They take your phones at any device. So like I was surprised people were able to get recording devices because usually you have to go through a metal detector and put like not only your phone, Apple Watch, anything that might be able to record on you. They put it in one of the and they put it in one of those pouches that locks, and they let you hold a pouch throughout the show. Yeah, like they not like people were saying it's roast jokes. No, because they were straight up. Almost everyone on that stage was straight up punching down at like making cheap immigrant jokes, like and like a lot like they're making jokes of people who weren't there who can't say anything. Like it was like, yeah, exactly. Like it was like like again, the recordings are hard to tell how many people laughed in that crowd and how many didn't, but like I also, full disclosure, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I had right when I was watching, I'm like, I'm gonna write like 10 jokes better than this. And I did. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I did have the roast of WrestleMania. And I don't know when I'm gonna what I'm gonna do with these jokes. But like I definitely went off on some people. But also like it wasn't good throughout. It was I hope they don't do it again, because like there is room for like comedy, and like Sami Zayn show was perfect. They should have just done that again. Like so much better, not shitty, and you get your famous wrestlers, like your favorite wrestlers. Like I don't want to see the majority of those people ever again. Like they're not funny. But they're like they're not funny, but they're popular. They're not good comedy writers, but they're popular. Because like again, that's what comedy is now, is if you have like great crowd where like they tell comedians just like it's so behind the scenes. Like I've heard comedians talk about it. Like there are female comedians say like, to get my Instagram followers up, like I have my agent telling me to post thirst traps to get my Instagram follow up so I get better bookings. Like it's all about the numbers. So like this sadly, it's the broad thing that does work, which is why they're popular and why WWE booked him, is because he has huge numbers and huge like social media followings, and it does have a Netflix special or Netflix show. So there is that brand synergy, which like I understand on that level why he was booked to host that show. But like his vibe proliferated throughout the whole thing, and it was just like bad jokes throughout and low hanging fruit. Like, yes, it is a roast, but there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it while punching up. And like, no one had the courage. No one had the balls to make fun of Triple H and like his how close he is to the Trump administration. No one made fun of Linda McMahon. There's a lot of jokes there of her running the education system into the ground. There's a ways to punch up and make fun of WWE. Although throughout the set they did call the host racist multiple times, but also at the same time, like a lot of them would follow up by making shitty racist jokes throughout. Like the whole thing from top to bottom sucked. Like I was honestly surprised the audio made it out, and but like it was good for people to know that like a lot of these wrestlers are shitty and not smart. Like Paul Heyman, probably the most disappointing out of it, because I do respect the hell out of Paul Heyman. He's one of the greatest of all time at his job. But again, like as somebody who like appreciates good writing, and he's like, it was just the same hacky Mexican jokes we always hear, and everyone was punching down instead of punching up. Like look at Bill Burr, who is hilarious and punching up and making a point throughout. Like you can make jokes and make vulgar jokes at people, but it's who it's pointed at and like the point of view of it. And it wasn't, and none of it was great. Like it was super disappointing for a lot of people there. Like Sami Zayn being the most disappointing person there. Again, his set was like literally inoffensive, and yeah, like the fact Freddie Prinze Jr. wasn't there to defend it or like approve the joke was just for like shock value alone. And most of the people don't get it. That's the thing. Most of the people there, I guarantee 90% of the audience, no idea what he was talking about. Like, because Paul Heyman is an old man. Granted, a lot of people there do not know who Lisa Lampanelli is. So like that joke fell flat. Because again, like he didn't know his audience. I guarantee a lot of that WrestleMania fan crowd aren't comedy nerds and don't know who Lisa Lampanelli is, even though she's been out of comedy for years now. Like she, for those who don't know, was a famous roaster, and that was like the old school roast that everyone used to make. Same joke that everyone used to make at every Comedy Central roast. Like on that part, you're just repeating a joke verbatim. So like both as a wrestling fan, as a comedy nerd, hated the whole thing. Like they can do better. Have Sami Zayn continue doing his like improv show every year. Like the only jokes that were fun, like we're making fun of, and again, like sort of shows how they felt about Undertaker's One Dead Man show. They made fun of Undertaker's One Dead Man show. Like you continue to do after party, but like this was dumb, and the selection of your hosts definitely sent a message. And throughout the whole show, they were just punching down to easy targets or targets that weren't there and making the hackiest, most like bland bullshit jokes. And I felt like a lot of people, like, A, don't do it if that's what you're going to do. B, get better comedians if next time. There are other comedians who are great at this. Like Jesselnick, that's his bread and butter. Of like doing dark jokes, but also not being a tremendous dick about it. Like there are comedians who know what they're doing there and like are smart about it. Like there's a lot there to make fun of about WrestleMania, but no one really they just did they're doing for the most shock value joke without actually being much of a joke. Like there is comedic talent in WWE, and they squandered the whole thing. It was a truly disappointing thing, and I don't hate that the audio leaked and people, because I knew what it was going to be from the jump. Like when we set out to have that host, he definitely sets the vibe for the whole thing, and he brings on his friends, who I forget which comedian was. Let's talk about people having a bad week. Shannon Sharp's show. Goddamn, and he basically buried. There was a comedian who went on the show and buried everyone that was on the Joe Rogan verse, and like they're not funny. He's like, they're not funny comedians. They were like, Joe Rogan's not a funny comedian, and he brings in even less funny comedians to make him look funny. Oh, I would be surprised if they were going to televise in the first place. Like I knew from the jump they were going to televise the roast, but like they definitely recorded it so they can make copyright claims on it. But it's another thing that's good. Like they recorded those Sami Zayn shows. They had cameras there. But other than like potentially putting it in like a quick like buzz reel for like what's going to happen, like this is what happens at WrestleMania, just like quick clips and add. Zach, how are you doing this week, sir? I hope you're having a great weekend. But other than like quick clips, they're not going to. That's not going to see the light of day. Same thing with Sami Zayn's show. They're never going to show any of that. They just videotape for themselves, and also as an excuse to take everyone's camera and phone. But yeah, like we're wrapping up here soon. But yeah, like just to sum it up, like it bugged me on two levels. And I'm like, they can do better here. There's a room for a comedy show at Mania, but you book the comedians who I don't think are great comedy writers. And like any racist idiot can come up with those same jokes and repeat those same jokes a million times. It's just it's racist Mad Libs. It's it's the same joke, just they just add a different name or a different person, like a different Asian person there. Like it's if you find that funny, you're a very, very simple person who like I don't think much of and are feeding into the worst of comedy. And like WWE, like the proliferation of like right-wing comics and right-wing personalities is not great for the year to come in WWE. Like that is definitely also like a tone setter for what's the next year to come. Is the Pat McAfee did on his show like tease that maybe maybe Donald Trump shows up. Like I think by next year WrestleMania they're gonna like it's gonna be the full TKO takeover, and they're gonna. I think it's inevitable that Trump shows up to Mania next year. Like I see it coming from a mile away. They've been doing this slow leak of right-wing personalities, even though the crowd, which thank you WWE crowd, like for still being cool and booing every right-wing personality they bring out. Like has not been great and is a bad sign for the year to come in WWE if they continue bringing on these right-wing personalities. When people do just want to escape to a certain extent, but also like completely reminding people of the worst of what's going on sucks. And like it is definitely an indicator of who Triple H is as a person behind the scenes. He apparently was laughing his ass off in the back. Like he thought it was great, which clearly no one else did, or the vast majority of people didn't. It was very much critically panned, and rightly so. Yeah, so this week as a whole, I think, like going forward in WWE, if the Raw and SmackDown are, I think we are hopefully on an upswing from this terrible Mania. It wasn't a terrible Mania, I apologize. The terrible main event of night 2. Like, that left a bad taste in people's mouth, but the Raw and SmackDown after Mania shows what WWE can do so right, and why like there is a lot of good there and a lot of talent there, and why there is still reason to be very much optimistic in the future. Like I think the Raw main event scene is surpassing the SmackDown title coming up. Like I think there's more to be hopeful for there going forward. Like the John Cena stuff is interesting, and I do like that they included the counter of the shows he has left. Like every time I would like them every so often to bring it back and to continually show people how many day appearances he has left, as like the countdown with him holding the title continues. And we are getting the and it's apparently being billed as one last time, John Cena and Randy Orton at Backlash, which again, a big match, but again, everyone clearly expects John Cena to win and probably take the title through to the end of the year, to December. So yeah, like there is definitely reasons to be positive about WWE going forward this year as we start the unofficial, the new season of the WWE. Like there is a lot there. Like I am excited for the SmackDown main event women's scene. Like both men and women said, like having Io win was brilliant. I loved there was the right winner there. I think Io is so talented and deserved that moment, and is absolutely insane that she's the first Japanese woman to win a WrestleMania match, which is a crazy fact. Like, my God, should have this happened a while, but like again, well deserved. And the video of her parents in the crowd crying was super nice. Like having Stephanie Vaquer, man, I almost forgot about that. Having Stephanie Vaquer and just like showing the future there. Like they both on Raw and SmackDown, they did a good job of teasing future matches, which we're gonna have soon between Stephanie Vaquer and Io. Like that's not done yet. And man, when Stephanie Vaquer makes the full main roster jump, oh my God, is that going to be a huge plus to that division, to whatever division she ends up on. But like that tease of that match there, give it to me every day of the week. Like that crowd was so hot for that, and deservedly so. Like Io, Io's not having a bad match with anyone. Like perfect champion, perfect winner of that match. Like the booking there was like that three-way match, one of the best women matches ever at WrestleMania. Or like men or women's matches, one of the best matches ever. Should put that caveat there at WrestleMania. Like they absolutely killed it, and there was the perfect winner too. I'm very happy for Io's getting this moment and getting this title run. It's so well deserved. So yeah, like both shows did do a good job of teasing the future of what's to come this year. Like I think like hopefully we see Stephanie Vaquer on the main roster this year, if not next year. Like there's so many people. Like I want Roxanne Perez to finish up whatever she has on NXT and finally be fully called up onto the main roster. Like on the like sad side, I wish Bayley, like whatever happened to Bayley, sucks really hard. And that interview with that interview she did, where she like sort of accidentally let slip that she was going to get like not fully, but letting slip that something was happening and that she was going to be taken off Mania, and her heartbreak there, like somebody who just got heartbreak after heartbreak in WWE and deserves so much better. And like, I hope that granted, she still has a while on her contract, still has a year and a half left about, so it's not going to be for a little bit, and things can change. It does seem like she's now contemplating now more than ever to make the jump to AEW. But still, like, anything could happen in a year and a half. But it's definitely somebody who deserves better. But that is going to do it for this week. Before I go, I'd be remiss to say we love Wrestling Canada. We've talked about it before, and we don't hide from where we're a proudly Canadian company. Myself, Zach, Spencer, Boris, Blair are all Canadian. And tomorrow is the Canadian election day. If you're in Canada, haven't voted in advance yet, please, for the love of God, go out and vote. It does not take long. I went in advance voting last Saturday, and it took me 5 minutes in and out the door. Like, if you're going to try to avoid peak hours, and it takes, like, the longest I've ever had to wait to vote is maybe half an hour at my polling station. So it does not take long to vote. And this is a very, like, I know we hear it all the time, and like, it does seem like it loses meaning, but it is truly an important election. We are voting very much to make sure one party, we definitely want to keep a full-on bigot out of office, somebody who is so condescending and so cruel to the trans community and just condescending as a whole. Like, Pierre Poilievre is not a good person, should not be allowed anywhere near the positions of power. And as a company that both on LPW and here highlights queer and trans talent, we always stand on their side and not on a bully and a bigot, especially somebody that is the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada and somebody who wants to sell Canada for pieces to the United States and Donald Trump is 100% what they'll do. And like, he's trying to hide it as much as possible, but he lets his known what he's going to do with the CBC when he wants to defund the CBC, and it's clearly it's going to be a right-wing American company that's going to buy the CBC. That's exactly what he wants. So if you want to continue Canada being Canada, there are two choices you can make in your writing, 2 or 3 choices, I would say. Just please make a smart vote. Educate yourself on what the more strategic vote is in your writing. Please go out and vote, as our future is riding on it. And as a company who does book a lot of queer and trans talent, we don't want to make it harder for them to work here, and we don't want to become the United States. With that, my name again is Laurence Cartier, as I am every week. You can follow me at CartierNDG on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. And I will be back here each and every week, every Sunday, to chat the week that is wrestling. I want to thank everyone in the chat. Zach, Ophelia, Leashy for hopping in the chat. Fernando. Somebody I'm missing. Scroll up. And Sandy for hopping in earlier. And Amanda, too, for hopping in a little bit, saying hi. Yep, we will be back here, right back here, same time, same place next week. Hopefully you can join us. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. I hope you, again, go out and vote if you're in Canada. And have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.